So Hayden, it's 3 weekend start. You just instruct Saloni when she should start.
Yes, ma'am. Saloni, you can start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all the teachers and final year students for this webinar today. We all have stepped into our final year, that final year where all our bubbling innovative ideas with acquired knowledge are put into invention. But what will safeguard your invention? It is a competitive world indeed. So, what is a patent and why should one apply for it? Today's session is an introduction to IPR, Intellectual Property Rights, and patent fundamentals. To share his insights on this topic, we have our guest speaker who has filed up to 16 design patent and utility patent under Government of India. 7 has been granted, 5 has been published, and 3 Australian patent and 1 US patent are in the process. He is an active member of 18 professional organizations. He is also a reviewer for 9 international journals. He has been awarded 2 Mumbai University funded research projects. He has been an invited speaker and organizing committee member for international conferences at Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Beijing, Taiwan, and other reputed institutes of India. He is an gold medalist at Avishkar Research Competition at local, region, and district level under PhD category, awarded by Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University. He has delivered 37 webinars on IPR and Indian patent during lockdown, empowered more than 8,000 plus faculties, and covered 9 states. We have with us a researcher, an edupreneur, and patent analyst, Mr. Awab Faki. I welcome you, sir. Please take over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Saroni. So if anyone can reply to the chat room if we can see the presentation.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So let's start. So when you talk about IPR, the first thing which it comes to your mind is that when it was started. So the concept of IPR, my dear friends, was first discussed back in 1845. Just imagine the year. Then again, the issuing of protecting the IPR was first discussed in the Paris Convention in 1883 and Berne Convention in 1883. Both the treaty are administered by WIPO. Now, like if someone in the chat room, like it could be anyone, if they would say, Awab, tell us, when do you say WIPO? What do you mean by that? If Kunal would put up a question, Awab, tell me, what do you mean by WIPO? And I say WIPO, that is nothing but World Intellectual Property Organization. That means the concept is very, very old. So when IPR is like anything which originates from your mind, or you can say the creative work of a human intellect, or like human brain, such as like song which we listen on a laptop, or we can say like floral design of bed sheet and so on and so forth. We call it as a property. Now you would be questioning, we have Rutuja with us. If Rutuja would question me, why are you calling this as a property? Rutuja would say, ki, I understand a property is something which you can sell or you can earn money from it. Why are you calling an IPR as a property? The reason behind this is that like the other properties, like what Rutuja said to me, like it could be like house, it could be land, it could be gold, etc. So we can sell it, we can make money from it, we can trade, we can even take loan, right? Similarly, my dear colleagues, with IPR, you can sell it, you can make money from it, you can trade with your IPR, you can also take loan from with your IPR. So the property over here, what we are discussing is the knowledge expressed in the document by the owner. So the owner could be anyone, right? For example, we have Shanai, we have Saloni, we have Karan with us. Okay, all the three people are working in a group under the guidance of Sana ma'am and Sejal ma'am, right? So if they are working on the project, okay, so that project, if they have an unique outcome which is solving some problem, so that could be a knowledge which is expressed in a document, and all these five people is termed as a owner. So this is the way it works. So one of the major difficulties is that if it could be Snail. If Snail put up a question to me, Awab, tell me, can I get a patent or a copyright for something like if for my idea, or it could be like for my imagination? Can I get something for that? If my imagination is very, very unique, it's very different from what people are thinking or what people have already done it. So what can I get for it? The question is no. For the information, like something like idea and imagination, you don't get patent for it. The information reflected in those information is a real subject matter of protection. For example, if we talk about, we have Mr. D'Souza with us. Like if he's imagining about a flying car, so that thing cannot be protected. That idea cannot be protected. But if he's actually working on it into a physical subject, then that could be an invention and that can be protected. IPR, my dear friends, it's confined to a particular territory. In other words, it could be, we have Brian with us. Okay. For example, if Brian is working on some concept, okay, if he's working on an innovative idea, either it could be his company, either it could be his startup, either it could be his project, irrespective to it. Okay. So if he's making some product, okay, if he's registering it as a patent, okay, in India, so that the someone said about law, like if Piyush said about yes, I said one word which comes to your mind about IPR, he said law, yes. So that means like if he's registering his patent under Government of India, okay, so that law is only applicable for the people, inventors who are into India, okay. Someone doing it any other country outside India, he cannot protect it. That is the meaning of it. IPR is confined to a particular territory. So it could be like laws which are applicable only to that particular territory where they are granted. For example, like if any invention is granted property right in India, then only laws related to India will be applicable. So those laws will neither be applicable to United Nations or any European countries and so on and so forth. Before going into further details, my dear colleagues, I would like to explain you about the term for protection. It could be a term of protection also. So term of protection is the number of years for which the protection is given to the property holder. Okay. So over here, like we have Shanai. So Shanai would tell me ki, okay, tell me ki, what is the term for protection? So the point is that the term for protection is the number of years, the loyalty or the benefits which you are getting from the Government of India, so that no one can use that idea won't be a proper word, that work in your sector. Either it could be segment of an IT industries, either it could be in any mechanical, either it could be in any manufacturing segment, so on and so forth. So that is the meaning of term for protection. So the next question would be coming to your mind. Oh, tell me, what is the term for protection for a patent? So if I get a patent, so to how many years will the patent will be granted to me, that no one can use it, so that I can enjoy the monopoly, I can enjoy the financial benefit for the same. So let's go further in much more detail so that to understand the term for protection for every IPR. And just to addition to it, and like every year, my dear friends, we do celebrate World Intellectual Property Day, that is on 26th of April. So with this, let's go for the next one. So I hope everyone is there with me. If everyone is there with me, if they can just put a dot for it, I'll know yes, someone is there. You can just put a dot, you can just put okay or anything. If you want to repeat, if you want me to repeat anything, just you can use a chat room. Let's use the chat room very effectively. Just anything, even a dot would be sufficient. Thank you so much. So we have Tejas, we have Kunal, we have amazing. We have n number of people with us. Thank you so much for being so sporty. So next thing. So next thing, let's categorize the whole IPR in two different broader categories. So one category is the registered / non-registered category, okay, and the second one you can it's there on your slide itself, okay. So let's go into much more detail. But we can see from the block, my dear friends, there are two major categories, right? Registered / non-registered category. The second one is industrial / academia. My dear friends, not all the form of IPR requires registration. In case of copyright and trade secret, registration is not necessary. Like some people said about law, right? He said, yes, so law would be involved when he talk about IPR. So over here, we are discussing every IPR, not all the form of IPR requires registration, proper registration. Like there are categories like copyright and trade secret, you can go even without registration also. I'll give you one of the best example. You might be viewing your institute website or any other institute website, or you might have created your own website. You still write the content below, right? Copyrighted and so on. The above content of your website, the above content and so on is copyrighted for this company, but you never register under Government of India under copyright section, right? But you still write it. So that is something comes under, yes, you are mentioning, yes, the above content is yours, but that is a non-registered category. So someone like if we have amazing people with us. We have Hayden with us. So Hayden will tell me if you are saying that content, that copyright is not registered. If someone else is using it, how can I stop him? Hayden, you cannot stop it. Since we are saying it non-registered, you cannot. But if it was registered, then you can put a claim to it. You can complain. You can go with an official procedure for the same. So this is how, my dear friend, it works. Let's go further for it. So they are protected without any procedure and formalities. But for other IPR, my dear friends, we need to follow the procedure formalities like filling up the form, paying the prescribed fees, and so on and so forth. But in case we need a better protection from infringement, we should register, in fact, our IPR. Otherwise, the infringement cannot be legally combated. Now, when we talk about the other type is the industrial and / academia. The industrial property includes, that is everything you can see, right? It's there on your screen itself. So, and these IPR includes like when you talk about like industrial process. So when something which is including an industrial process, so that is something comes under industrial property. Academia, yeah, when you talk about academia, academia includes the copyright. Copyright consists of literature. It could be dramatic, it could be any artistic work, but copyright does not include any industrial process. Anything which comes under industrial category, that includes industrial process. There's academia, something which does not include any industrial process, that comes in the academic category. That is nothing but your copyright. So that is a broader segment of IPR, my dear friends. Let's go further. Further, like before we move ahead to understand the yes.
Copyright in academic section will be registered ones, right?
Yes, Anuja. Thank you so much, Anuja. Next one is to go much further. Let's understand this 4 different terms. Many of them might be knowing it. If not, let's finish up within 45 seconds. So when we talk about act, my dear colleagues, over here, an act, a bill, which has passed through various legislature steps required for it and which has become a law. So these are categorized as a primary. Like some few said about law. So when you talk about law, anything which is formed, it is considered as an act. So the content which is followed by the act, that is termed as a rule. So these are a secondary category. Okay, it is followed once the act is made to make it much more diluted in a much more detailed manner. So rules are made for it. So these are in place to make the parent act work effectively. Rules provides the details which have not been provided for in the act. But however, Rules, by no means, my dear colleagues, by no means can go beyond the power conferred by the act or extend the same. So that is the basic generation of what is an act, what is a rule. Amendment is something like which has any changes, like for example, any if you might be working in your company and so on and so forth future, so you make some rules and you keep on changing it, right, to have a better and better version of it. So that is something considered as an amendment. Okay. And next, fourth term is your term. The term is nothing but your term of protection. That is, and for how many years your IPR will be yours, right? So that no one can use it. So once it is registered, so for that particular time period, it will be yours. No one can use it without your prior approval. So this is how it works. So I hope everyone is there with me. Just a dot is that will be more than sufficient for me. Just a dot, that will be more than sufficient for me. Let's go ahead with this four terms. Let's go ahead for it. So many of them, like over here, people have an concept like when we talk about IPR, there is only one kind of IPR, that is your patent. Some might have heard about copyright, and some might have heard about something else as well. But my dear friends, when we talk about IPR, just believe me. Thank you so much, Anshuman, Yash, Amod, here. Thank you so much for being so sporty. So when we hear a word about IPR, my dear friends, just I'll just wanted to give you an knowledge before I go to the next slide. There are 9 different types of IPR. We hear about only about hardly 1 or 2, like patent, copyright, and so on and so forth. But there are 9 different type of IPR. So what we'll be doing it today, like we'll be spending at least 3 to 4 minutes on every different type of IPR. Okay. And for the next tomorrow session, we'll be completely focusing on only one of the type of IPR, that is patent. So this is the journey of today's webinar. Okay. So let's go ahead with it. So with this, so that's your first slide for your different types of IPR. So I have divided into three for every slide. So we'll be having completely 9. Okay. So we have 4 different columns. So as of now, act and rules is only for your information. Won't be going to much depth. So we'll be focusing on 2 things. What is a type of IPR and what is a term for protection? Okay. So first thing, when you talk about first IPR, that is your patent. The term for protection is for 20 years. So when I say 20 years, for example, if Austin is working on something, okay, if Austin and Nigel is working on some product, okay, and if they go for a product, if once it is done, if they go for filing for a patent, and if the patent is granted to them, that means the right is given by the government of India for 20 years. Like no one can use it without the prior approval of them. Okay, so that is the way it works. So after 20 years, so like someone would be questioning me, Atharva, tell me what after 20 years. So Atharva, what happens, like once it completes 20 years, the complete technology becomes open to market. So anyone can use it without the prior approval of the inventor. So that is the meaning of term for protection. When you talk about trademark, my dear colleague, the trademark, the term for protection is indefinite. Okay, but how? But there's a clause for it. After every 10 years, you have to keep renewing it. After every 10 years, you can keep renewing it. There is no time frame. Okay, there is no time frame for it. Like after 20 years, even someone else can use a brand name. Okay, if the McDonald's is a trademark, right? So they have to renew it. Like no one else can use it. They have the trademark for the same. The third category is the industrial design. So initially, if someone is working on a design part, a design could be a 2-dimensional, design could be a 3-dimensional, so on and so forth. Okay. If you are working on a design part, and if you really think, yes, irrespective, however your product will be working in future, but your design is unique. Okay. Yes, you should go for design patent. And in that case, initially you get for 10 years. And if you want to extend it, you can go it for more 5 years. Now someone will be putting it up, like for example, if there would be Amod and Yash and Ayushman and Mansi and Ayer, if they all 5 of them are working on it, if they would see, so what if the patent even completes 20 years, if we want to extend it, is there any clause for it? No, there is no. Once it completes 20 years, you cannot extend the same. But in case of design, yes. Once it completes 10 years, you can extend it for more 5 years by filing a procedure for it. So this is the 3 basic IPR. We have learned the types of IPR: patent, trademark, design, industrial design, and the term for protection for the same. Okay, let's go for the next one. Okay, so over here we have copyright. In case of copyright, like over here, like Anuja had put a question. Yes, it has both the category, registered as well as non-registered category. In case of copyright, when you register it, so the lifespan, the term for protection is the life of the author plus 60 years after the death. Life of the author plus 60 years after his death. That is the term for protection for that content, for the copyright. The next one is geographical indication, my dear friend, GI. We term it as. It has 10 years, but it can be renewed for a lifetime. Okay. So my question to this amazing audience, I'm very lucky to have this amazing audience over here. My question is, in the previous slide, we had one of the type of IPR that was having the similar term for protection as that of geographical indication. Which IPR was that? In the previous slide, we had one of the type of IPR which was having the similar term for protection. That means 10 years, but it can be renewed for a lifetime. So which IPR was that? Thank you so much, Ethan. This is Tejas. Thank you so much. So which IPR was that? Someone is saying industrial design, someone is saying trademark. I'm saying the term for protection is 10 years, but you can keep renewing it after every 10 years. So which IPR was that? Thank you so much for being so sporty. Yes, that was trademark. This is a yes, you are right, but the point was over here is it can be renewed for a lifetime, for after every 10 years. So industrial design, yes, initially it is for 10 years, but you can extend it for maximum for more 5 years. The total time frame is for 15 years. So that way it works. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much, Arpana. Thank you so much, Kunal. Thank you. The next one is your trade secret. The trade secret, in the name itself says you don't want to disclose anything. So since if you want to register, my dear colleague, you have to put it on black and white, right? You have to put it in paper, right? So if you put it on paper, so there is a chance like someone will misuse or so on and so forth. So in that category, terms comes under term. The term is for a lifetime. When I say lifetime, it is completely up to you how safe you can keep it. Okay. So that's the all the six types of IPR. Let's go further. Next one is your plant breeder's right. In this, it has been divided into two categories. One is your trees and vines, that is for 25 years. And any other plant except trees and vines, it could come under 20 years. So there are two categories, trees and vines, it's for 25 years. Any other plant except trees and plant, any other category except trees and vines, it will have a 20 years lifespan. Next is your traditional knowledge. Again, no act, no rules, the term is for lifetime. So now the question is to the amazing audience. In the previous slide, we had a similar kind of traditional knowledge. Even the traditional knowledge, even the traditional knowledge doesn't have any act, no rules. The term for protection is lifetime. Which IPR was that in the previous slide? It was very similar to traditional knowledge. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, that was trade secrets. Even trade secret didn't have any rules, any act. Even the term for protection was for lifetime. And the last one is your semiconductor integrated circuit layout design. Semiconductor integrated circuit layout design. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta. Thank you so much. Hayden, Shanai, thank you so much for being so sporty. Thank you. So when you talk about this part, this is something especially for electronics and electronic telecommunication, electrical circuit designing part. Semiconductor integrated circuit layout designs. The term for protection is for 10 years. You cannot extend it. Once it completes 10 years, it is very similar to patent. Once you complete 10 years, you cannot extend it. Okay. So let's go beyond this. So let's have, before going to the next slide, can we have a quick revision? Can we have a quick revision? In the first slide, we had seen three types of IPR. Can you name it in the chat room? In the first slide, we had three types of IPR. Can you name it in the chat room itself? Let's understand things before we move ahead. It will really help you. In the first slide, we had three types of IPR. Can you name it? Thank you so much, Aiden. Thank you. Thank you. We had patent, we had trademark, we have industrial design. Thank you. 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 Yes, Anuja. Thank you. Let's go for it. Next thing. So when you talk about geographical indication, what was the term for protection for geographical indication? Anyone? Term for protection for geographical indication. Term for protection for geographical indication. Thank you so much, Anuja. Thank you. Thank you, Hayden. So Hayden, it can be renewed or it cannot be renewed. Yes or no? You can just type Y and N. It can be renewed or it cannot be renewed. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You can use as short form as you can. So that's okay, not an issue. Next thing. So when you talk about patent, so what is the term for protection for patent? How many years? Term for protection for patent. Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So fast. Okay. Can it be extended? Y or N? Can it be extended? Y or N? Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Rutuja. Thank you, Srushti. Thank you. Thank you, Shonai. Next one. When you talk about semiconductor integrated circuit layout design, semiconductor integrated circuit layout design, what is the term for protection for that? Number of years. Number of years. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. 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 Piyush. Perfect. Fernandez. Suman. Kunal. Thank you. Last one. What is the term for protection for trade secret? Thank you. Perfect. 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 Let's go for it. I hope few people are there with me. Thank you. Amazing. Let's go with it. Let's go with the objective. Why? Sir Q. Why IPR? Why? What is the benefit? Even if we do it, ठीक है, क्या मिलेगा? What is the benefit? Let's go for it. So now we are like going to discuss about the objective, my dear friends, behind the IPR. The first is to give the recognition to the creator of work. Simple as that. Everyone loves appreciation. Everyone loves it. If the appreciation comes into black and white, everyone will love it more. Simple as that. If you are getting it for some XYZ years, if that is yours, no one can use it. Nothing better than that, right? Every nation gives recognition to the creator so as to motivate him to perform better. So he is rewarded in such a way so that he can enjoy the monopoly and the economic benefits over his work. He can enjoy the economic benefits by either he can license it, either by he can sell his invention. The other objective it could be is to attract the foreign investments and the transfer of technology. Like if you can see the CRED is something like it was born in 2018, right? That startup. So now when you talk about CRED, you might be seeing its ad, right, about the credit card bills and so on and so forth. So as of now, my dear friends, when you talk about CRED, the valuation for the CRED is $2.1 billion. Just imagine, almost 14,000 crore. So that is so huge. So that was an idea, and he had embedded with it with investments, right? So that is one of the example over here. If for example, if you talk about new and innovation like created in nation, then it might attract the foreign investments. Everyone know that, right? They may purchase the technique and innovative technologies. Also it could have the use of their technology in the exchange of our technology. That is nothing but technology transfer, we say it. It is also important, my dear friends, to maintain the harmony in people of different kind of skills. Like innovation in every field is rewarded with the protection, as the work of innovation in any field is equally time consuming and laborious. So if the rights of the farmer, or it could be artist, if it is not protected, that might create a chaos between people from different fields. So my dear friends, it is necessary to safeguard the interest of the owner of the work in every field. Recognition, if in like different kind of IP, or like we have different kind of IPR, right, to protect the right of the artist, farmers, technical people, traders, and so on. So this is not only important in maintaining the harmony, my dear friends, but also for recognizing for the work of the intellect in different field. IPR can also enhance the trade, the investment in the country. It is obvious by now, like development of the technology and innovative work would really enhance the trade in any particular nation. Example, China, right? They are evolving with every product, right? Day by day, you are viewing it in every small, like even if you watch a small equipment of Chinese product, right? So they are evolving it so fast. So economic status will also improve, and we can also take the benefit of the international trade opportunities. So grant of any right, my dear friends, act as an inspiration or as a catalyst, you can say, for a further invention will ultimately contribute to the technological development of any particular nation. So as everyone needs recognition and reward for their creation. Simple as that, my dear friends. So let's go for it. So now we'll be discussing one by one each of the IPR, right? All 9 IPR what we have discussed it. Let's go one by one. The first one, patent. So I hope everyone is there with me. Can we start with the discussion for each of the IPR? Everyone is there with me. Just a dot would be fine. If, thank you. Let's go for it. Thank you, Astin. Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Tejas. Thank you, Reena. Let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, go. So, patent. Patent is a grant of some exclusive privilege rights, or an authority, you can say. Someone initially, when we were discussing before the start of the webinar, someone said about authority. Yes, you were right. So you can say given by the government of the particular country, like wherever you are filing. It could be for one, or it could be for one or more inventors. So it could be like Reena, Shenoy, Ferraro, Austin, Tejas. If everyone, all four of them are five of them are working on a product, yes, all five of them can be an owner for that. All one could be an inventor, other could be a co-owners for it, right? So it is given for a limited period of time, right? So when I say a limited period of time, can you say what was a limited period of time for a patent? Hidden extremely, so very fast. Yes, the time period for the patent was 20 years. So once we complete 20 years, so anyone can use it hereafter. So the inventor has a monopoly right for a particular period of time, that is for 20 years, where he can sell or import or use his invention according to his own choice, right? So as it was discussed in India, if you're talking about India, a patent is granted for 20 years. So all these years, my dear friends, an inventor can rule over his invention and can use it in every possible way, my dear friends. So by using in every possible way, I mean that he can license the invention to anyone, can assign his invention to anyone. For example, like one of the best example, it could be like IBM license technology to many dealers, right? And earn money from it. So basically like what IBM is doing it, IBM is earning royalty from every vendors. So one of the example could be like recent, it could be like Apple dictate to charge. Another example could be a patented medicines like Combiflam. So there are many to come. Okay, so that was a small brief about patent. Okay, I hope everyone is there with me. So after we finish every kind of IPR, we'll be having one or two questions on every IPR. It could be one, it could be two. So you'll be having only 15 seconds to answer into the chat room. You can just have to answer the options. It could be A, it could be B, it could be C, it could be D. Either you can answer 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything will do. Okay. Even if you don't answer, it's okay. It's only a request. So nothing compulsion to anyone. So here we go. Every question will be displayed only for 15 seconds. Okay. So we have 9 IPRs. So we'll be having questions for at least six to seven kind of IPRs. Okay. So here we go for it. Best of luck. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What protects the intellectual property created by the inventors? A, copyright. B, geographical indication. C, patent. D, registered design. E, trademark. You can answer it in the chat room itself. The question will be there for 15 seconds maximum. Second question, question number 1, answer. Question number 2, answer. How long do patents usually last for? A, 10 years. B, 20 years. C, 40 years. D, 60 years. Question number 2, option A, B, C, D. Question number A, option A, B, C, whatever you feel like. There are correct answers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting it up. Thank you. Thank you, Austin, everyone. Om, Shinoy, Ria. We have Shushti. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I hope, can we go for the next one? So next one is your trademark. So if you can give me an approval, if you can put a dot for it, can I go for the next one, please? With your kind approval, please. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Reena. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Let's go for it. Let's talk about trademark. Trademark enables the consumer to identify the product by a certain symbol, simple as that. This will help them to distinguish the product and the service from, it could be from one trader to the another trader. Trademark helps to get the goodwill into the market. So as you all know, like the famous McDonald's, in which you often see a joker kept outside the store, right? In the yellow color in which they write the McDonald's. So you can easily understand that this is McDonald's store, where you'll get a good quality food over here. This is how the trademark protects the goodwill and the quality. And it also helps, my dear friend, in identifying that like it also helps the consumer in identifying the trademark. The trademark can directly appear on the product, for example, like slice written on the bottle, Coca-Cola bottle, the ringtone, Nokia MI, the punchlines of Lays, Pal Banai Magical, so on and so forth. One of the trademark is Xerox. So Xerox was registered as a trademark as an electrophotography copying machine and apparatus for fusing powder images. In 1952, just imagine, my dear friends, it was registered as electrophotography copying machine and apparatus for fusing powder images in 1952. It was used widely in this kind of copying technology. It thus reached a point in 1970, my dear friends, that the trademark almost became very generic. It was a descriptive mark because many people referred like photocopy as Xerox. So that was a small brief about a trademark. So let's go for a sample few trademark logos which everyone have seen it. One question for a trademark, you'll be having 15 seconds, that's it. Let's go for it. Here we go at 3, 2, 1. You can just mention the question number and the option, that's it. So what is the duration of the trademark registration as defined by the Trademark Act 1999? As it was discussed, the first an act is made, then to follow it, the rules are made for it under its guidelines. A 2 years, B 5 years, C 10 years. The correct answers? Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go for an industrial design. Thank you so much for putting it up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Om. Thank you, Palak. Thank you, Shinoy. Thank you, D'Souza. Thank you, Piyush. Let's go for it. The next one is your industrial design. Industrial design, my dear friends, protect the distinctive appearance of the product. These right is only concerned with the look of an article. Only the look of an article, not as how they function. You can take many real life examples like the shape of a sports bike you like, or you can say you can talk about the floral design of a bed sheet, you can talk about handicraft, you can talk about manufactured products, the design of gold and diamond jewelries, etc. Now, when you talk about industrial design, my dear friends, it could be like 3-dimensional, it could be like 2-dimensional. So when you talk about 3-dimensional, it could be any shape of a car. When you talk about 2-dimensional, it could be such like an ornamentation colors, color combination of chocolate wrappers. It can be a combination of both as well. It could be a combination of 3-dimensional as well as 2-dimensional. Suppose if you talk about a famous Volkswagen car, which is an elegant shape, like 3-dimensional shape, and it is also having a unique color, so that comes under category of 3-dimensional as well as 2-dimensional. So a Volkswagen can protect under like in industrial design. These features should be judged only by an eye. Industrial design, my dear friends, adds a commercial value for the product. Design makes the product good looking and attractive. So a good looking finished product must be appealing for the consumer so that he prefers buying over a boring design. My dear friends, like if you go for a shopping for a mobile phone, you never buy a full cell phone which has all the features but that not look but doesn't have an elegant shape, right? So that's the reason the industrial design are very important in adding the look factor for the product. So it is very, very important to enhance the design of your product. So that's a small brief about your industrial design, my dear friend. So let's go for the this thing. We'll have a question on industrial design. Every question for 15 seconds, that's it. You can just mention the question number and the answer. That will be more than sufficient for me. Here we go. What is encompassed in the design as per intellectual property law? A, feature of a shape. B, configuration. C, pattern. D, all of this. Next one. What is the duration of a design registered under the Design Act 2000? A 2 years, B 5 years, C 10 years, D depend on the commercial value of the infringement. The correct answers. So when you talk about industrial, it includes everything, the feature. It doesn't include the working for it. Rest it includes everything. And the year and the time frame is for 10 years. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for putting it up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Here we go. The next one is your copyright. A copyright is concerned like let's take an example before starting a copyright. Like if, for example, if I love music, right? I listen to FM every day. I hear songs of Arijit Singh, Sonu Nigam, Rahul Vidya, and so on and so forth. All the singers, my dear friends, have a copyright for a piece of work done by them. Then the broadcasting rights are also given to these FM broadcasting organizations. So a copyright is concerned with the protection of original literature, artistic work, and so on. The copyright substance in an original dramatic, musical, cinematography film. The Copyright Act, my dear friends, it came into effect in January 1958. Okay, with this, I have a question to this amazing audience. If you were really focusing on the question, can you tell me what was the act year for a trademark? It was there in one of the question. What was the act year for a trademark? In which year the act was formed? It was there in one of the question of trademark. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anuja, Sean. Thank you so much, Karan. Thank you. And what was the act here for the industrial design? If anyone can answer it. Thank you. Yes, really good, really good. Similarly, my dear friends, when you talk about copyright, the Copyright Act came into effect in January 1958. Like it was formed in 1957, but the act came into effect in January 1958. So when you talk about copyright, we can take examples of copyright, that is like the right of a performer. We can say like famous actor like Amitabh Bachchan Saab has a right to control his performance given by him in any stage show. Then the right of broadcasting would be completely depending upon him, right? So once he has a right to sell it to, either it could be for TV channel, either it could be for media production. It is completely up to him. So that is the meaning of copyright. Okay. So we already know the term for protection for copyright. We know what is a copyright for it. So we know yes, there are two categories. One is the registered, one is the non-registered category also in copyright. So with this knowledge, let's go ahead with it. So we'll be having two questions each for 15 seconds. The question is not to judge you how attentive you are. The question is just to make sure that you have understood something. That's only for that. Even if you go wrong, it's okay. It's okay, not an issue. Here we go for it. First one. A trickier question. You can mention the question number and the answer. Second one. Just mention the question number and the answer. Like it could be question number 2, A, B, C, whichever you feel it is correct. And the correct answers are, the first one was a little trickier. Second one, I think everyone will get it. Yes. Thank you for answering it. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. So next one is your GI, geographical indication. So like before we start, if I would need the help of everyone whoever is there into the chat room and really active. So if you can tell me a product which is really very famous, Either it could be your native place, either especially for your native place. Let's forget about Mumbai. Okay, so any product which is really famous of your native place. It could be any fruit, it could be any cloth, it could be anything, any handicraft item, anything it would be. Any product which is really very famous of your area wherever you reside, especially for your native place. Just mention the product, okay? Product of your native place, not for a manufacturer, okay, Piyush? Of your wherever you stay, okay? Your product, and mention the area. It would really help. Thank you so much, Piyush, for putting it up. Thank you. Saloni, if you're putting in mango, so mention it. The mango in which area you're talking about. It will really help. The product and the name, place name. It will really help. It's just a request to everyone. If you can mention the product name and the area, trust me, it will really help you to understand the GI category. If we are discussing our geographical indication. Okay. So let's start. Thank you so much, Saloni. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anuja. Thank you. Here we go for it. If you can please put up into the chat room, it will really help us to understand GI much better. I'll just explain it GI by a time. Okay. So if we talk about GI, basically it is a tag, a notice stating that a given product originates in a given geographical area, or the product is manufactured in a given geographical area. Now, when you talk about tags, my dear friends, that it could be tag is given to the product for three things. One is for quality, second is for characteristics, third is for the reputation. These features can be found if the same product is manufactured or grown at some other place. It cannot be found if the same product is grown somewhere else. So if someone said about mango, the similar, you cannot get the same quality somewhere else, right? If you talk about grapes, yes, Nasik, it is an amazing place, right? So one of the major exporter for grapes, Chiki in Assam. Assam tea, one of the very expensive, which has been exported to various countries. Mumbai Vada Pav, wow. Very nice. Yes, Pashmini shawls from Kashmir. Yes, it has been exported, right? Vada Pav is not, so let's hope for it, Ayyar. Thank you so much for putting it up, Ayyar. So this characteristics, or if you talk about quality, maybe due to major factors like natural factors, or it could be method of manufacturing. So now if you talk about the natural factors, it could be soil, it could be the regional climate, it could be temperature, it could be moisture, it could be so on, n number of ways, like that would really help that product to build much better, or to grow much better, right? For example, like Bangalore oranges, very famous. It either it could be the manufacturing, which can include the specialization in the product, or the preparation method, like Tirupati Laddu. The geographical location, like it promotes the goods as well as the producer of a particular area, so that the consumer will be sure about the quality of a originated, and or it could be a many manufactured product. The reason of that is, like for example, if someone wants to really export it, right? If someone is looking like, yes, I want this product in Turkey, I want this product in UAE. So that is the point. If someone sitting in Turkey, he will definitely look for this ABC product, where this tag belongs to, where I'll be getting the best quality for this ABC product. So he'll be looking for a tag. So GA have a tag. Like for example, like he said about grapes. Yes, for grapes, Nasik, Jalgaon, this all this area, they're having tag for it because they can produce good kind of grapes. So if we talk about banana, you trust me, like the place up very close by to like if you go ahead with Dulia, Jalgaon, and so on and so forth, like 27% of bananas are being produced in this area. So they have a tag for it. Yes, they can produce the best quality of bananas, which could be exported to various countries. So this is the way the GI really helps you. If what happens in this case, like someone is producing mango at some other place, like Alfonso mango, that is a tag for the mangoes which is being producing at the Kokon area, which Saloni had mentioned it. For example, if someone who is producing a mango in some other area, for example, it could be in UP, it could be in BR, or it could be any other state, right? Okay, if they are also claiming that this mango which we are producing is also Alfonso, if they are going to the market and they saying, yeah, this is also an Alfonso, that means they are infringing the rights of the people of Kokon area, because the mango in Kokon area do get a very high price. So the people have to be very sure about the tax. So if the tag concept wouldn't be there, so people at any other place would really commit, yes, this belong to that place. So they would also get a very huge good price. So tag really helps the production people, or you can say the farmers, to get the best price into the market. So that is an advantage of having this kind of IPR. So yeah, with this, let's go further. So just a sample structure, the number of tags, a very old 2017, just for your reference. So in that up till 2017, Karnataka was ranking really high in the number of tags. The higher the number of tags, the higher the people from any other country will really approach you for the exporting part. So that will really help you. So you'll be having two questions, 15 seconds each for every question. In between, if you're having any queries, you can just use the chat room as just you can keep posting your questions. I'll make sure all your questions are answered during the presentation itself. Here we go. It's 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Question number and your answer. That's it. Question number 1. Question number 1 and answer A, B, C, D, whichever it could be, according to you. Second question, a little trickier. A little trickier. I'll explain you this as well. Don't worry. Even if you go wrong, I'll explain you. Question number 2. It is 2 and 3. Register proprietor and the authorized user. The government doesn't interfere unless and until the registered proprietor of that particular area and the authorized user doesn't complain that he is misusing our tag. So the government won't be taking any action for the same. So next one is your trade secrets. I hope everyone is there. If you can just put a dot, if you can just put a dot. Second question, I can realize it was tricky. Even if you go wrong, it's not an issue. Trust me. So it was very difficult for the government to channelize which tag, who is using it and where they are using it. Very difficult. So it is really responsible that the registered user and the proprietor should complain to the government and they can take an action against that. Okay. So let's go for it. The next one is the trade secrets. So many things, at least with the name itself, you might have concluded many of the things for the same. So let's have a quick review for the same. Basically, this is an information that you do not want the competitor to know about. Simple as that. The law generally protects not a secret formula and design, but even simple facts such as like the feature that might be introduced into the next iPhone, or which country a business intend to go into the next. Then we can also we can go into talk about like the famous trade secrets of KFC, the way they make the sauce, right? The McDonald's, the Coca-Cola, Google, because the information that is used in the operation of a business, and once the trade secret is revealed, the value of trade secret also goes away. The value, if we are talking about over here, is the economic advantage over the other competitors. So your competitors will copy the secret recipe or the formula or the trick to make the business successful. We can say that the trade secret can be of business related like financial cooperation, customer lists, or it could be a technical related like drawing, models, prototype, and so on and so forth. So always make sure, my dear friends. So in trade secrets, the confidential property is not a property. The confidential property is not a property. It can only be called as a property only if it is registered under IPR, right? If it is, since it is not registered, it cannot be called as a property. Okay, since it comes under non-registered category. So with a small brief about trade secret, my dear friend, let's go for a small MCQ based question. Just a small, just side information. One of the very oldest trade secret of Coca-Cola. It has been kept in the Vault of Bank in Atlanta, almost very close to 150 years. One question, 15 seconds. Just mention the question number and the answer. Here we go for it. 3, 2, 1. What is not valid for a legal nature of confidential information? Very tricky question. I'll give you a hint. Focus on two words, not valid. You will get the answer. The correct answer is because rest B, C, and D are all valid points. You can only term as a property only if it is registered on the IPR. Since trade secret is not registered, it cannot be called as a property, my dear colleague. Let's go for the next one. Traditional knowledge. A very, very simple concept. Again, no rules, no act. So the life is for lifetime. Okay. I'll just brief up with you in a very quick revision. These knowledge, my dear friend, is gained and used by people over generations. These type of IPR is given to knowledge that is common in a particular community. So it could be common in, for example, if you stay to XYZ village, right? So there is something would be very common in that village. So it works in that way. So like the knowledge of a turmeric, or you can say the use of turmeric for wounds and etc. Then this knowledge is carried from one generation to the another. Knowledge, my dear friends, is difficult to preserve in a form of proof. So we all know that India has a rich traditional knowledge that is passed verbally to one another, and for that Indian government, my dear friends, have taken an initiative of developing the traditional knowledge digital library that is termed as TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. This project, my dear friends, was initiated in 2001. In fact, just a small story. In fact, India fought a revocation of the Basmati patent, which was granted by US for some other people, because Basmati was India's traditional knowledge, right? So India had to fought back that patent. TKDL is a collaborative project of CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and the Ministry of Science and Technology with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. This project is implemented as CSIR. Now, if we talk about few example of traditional knowledge, it could be like tulsi, it could be like neem tree, it could be like turmeric in India. Like if we talk about Ayurvedic medicine, it could be like use of aloe vera in removing pimples. So all this, my difference is mentioned under TKTL website. So whenever if you like to visit TKTL website, if you observe the TKTL website, the major categories in which they are bifurcated is agriculture, fisheries, health, horticulture, and forestry. That is a major categorization which has been done by the government of India. So that's a small brief. What is a traditional knowledge all about, my dear friends? So next one is your plant breeders. Very simple. If you talk about as an Indian, like an Indian breeders develop a large number of new varieties that are freely available for others for exploitation. So like both plant breeders, right, are also known as the Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers Act 2001. It was formed in 2001, which protects the interests of the breeders as well as farmers, both the categories, the breeders as well as the farmers. These rights safeguard the interests of the farmers of India. It is an incentive, my dear friends, for the farmers and breeders for the development of improved plant varieties. Of it could be like agriculture, or it could be for horticulture, it could be for fisheries. So that's a small brief about your plant breeders, right? With this, two questions that will be there for 15 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go for it. Very trickier question. Let's go for it. Very trickier question. Question number and your answer. Question number 2. Anyone who was really attentive, they can really answer it immediately. Question number 2. This is the second last type of IPR. Then last one is your SCILD. We started on time, we'll finish on time. Yes, you can. The Production of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Right Act 2001. And the last one here we go is your semiconductor integrated circuit layout design. Thank you so much everyone. Shrusti, Yash, Anuja. Thank you so much everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being so active. Thank you. So let's go for it. So when we talk about the type of IPR, that is a semiconductor integrated circuit and layout design. The creation of a circuit and its layout design has been given a separate category of protection under IPR. As smaller the size of the integrated circuit, less the material needed for it and for its construction, and smaller the space needed to accommodate it. This condition requires lots of efforts by the technical people, and has the protection of this efforts has become important, my dear friends. It provides a protection for semiconductor integrated circuits, and the layout of these circuits plays a significant role in the advancement of technologies, especially for the electronics and the information technologies technical people. Integrated circuit are used in all the data processing equipment like mobile phones, laptop, watches, radios, washing machine, and so on. Semiconductor integrated circuit are often called as microchip, or you can say chip. It functions as a timer or a counter or a microprocessor, etc. It can be like it could be a digital or it could be analog. Integrated circuit layout designs refers to a 3D characteristics of an element and an interconnection of integrated circuits. So the examples could be a layout of transistors and any other circuit elements, my dear friends. So that was a small brief under SCILT. I'm not focusing on it because you belong to all computers, but still, if you have a good passion for hardware, so this could be one of the way where you can really work for your product and for your, because I'm not showing a project. So let's talk about product, because is you already into final year. So whenever you make your project, think about it should be in product. So whenever you think in the product perspective, trust me, the output would be really fantastic, because you would think in a direction like, so if someone is using it, would it be viable? Am I solving a problem? If I'm not, it cannot be patented, neither it can be used. Simple as that. So that's the type of IPR, my dear friends, what we have seen it. It's 4:03. We have finished on time. Thank you so much. You have been an amazing audience. Thank you so much for putting such a amazing efforts and answering it in the chat room. And it was, though it was an afternoon, but you made it really amazing. Thank you. So it could, so Sejal ma'am or the host, now you
Yeah.
can take the dais, all yours.
Yes, Awab,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much. Questions, if any, can be taken by sir. So please go ahead, students.
You can put the questions in the chat box as well as you can unmute yourself to ask your questions.
Thank you, Piyush. Thank you. I should say that thank you to you. You were amazing. Thank you.
Students, please, any questions, you can go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So there was one question on traditional knowledge. Who has access to the traditional knowledge, and are there any restrictions on its use?
No. If you talk about TKDL, it's completely open for everyone. The website is completely open for everyone.
Okay. The
Yes.
next question is: are these types of IPR same for all countries?
Yes. But the only term for protection will be different for every countries. Like you have patent in India, you have copyright in India, you have industrial design in India, you will be having same thing in US and also in the other countries as well. But the term for protection and the law would be different. Or they would really
Okay.
modify the name as well. But the similar IPR are also there in different countries as well. Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
The
Thank you
next
so much.
question is in industrial design, the look factor is important. So,
Yes.
if the competitors make just slight variations, will that be acceptable?
Uh, the point is that Saloni, the question is whenever you go for the examination, right? So according to the law, they haven't mentioned it. Ki what is the amount of percentage it should be different. If they have not mentioned it should be 10% different, it should be 20% different, 15% different. If the look and feel is different, he can apply for it. It is up to the examination team. They feel yes, the efforts is really remarkable. Yes, it can be, even if it is for 5%.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
There's another question. If an item is patented in US but not in India, can someone in India patent it?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. If he doesn't put an application at the simultaneously in India, yes, that can be patented in India as well, hidden. There is nothing known as hidden. There is nothing known as a patent which is worldwide. Nothing like that. Thank you. Thank you. Anything if anyone if want to ask regarding with their B project in
So
any
initially, I
that
think Mansi had some question. Mansi, are you there? That was related to her project.
Okay, so that question was how to know if our work is worthy of patent.
Mansi, there are three criteria. I don't want to repeat. We'll be discussing it tomorrow itself. Don't worry. There are three criteria where you have to judge it. So if you fall into that three criteria, then you go ahead with your patent application. I'll be discussing it tomorrow. Don't worry. With I'll be taking example in every case.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Rejo, are there any questions from YouTube link?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Saloni.
Just one last question.
Mhm.
So, what measures should one take in the process of doing the IPR, or maybe even in the ideation, to protect our ideas? Maybe like this is our idea, but what if someone else tries to work on it and patent it? So, what measures would one take?
There is only one major, Saloni. It is important that you file as early as possible. Okay. This is part something we'll be covering it tomorrow, but still I'll answer it. In India we follow first to file system. Okay, I'll take an example. For example, Saloni, Austin, and or Saloni and Austin are working. Okay, for example, Saloni is in Mumbai, Austin is in Navi Mumbai. Okay, with respect to that, they both working on the same product. Okay, but they don't know each other. Okay, Saloni have completed that product almost 90% of it. Okay, and Austin has only completed that product up to 60%, but they don't know each other. But what Saloni Austin was being guided by the professors of DBIT. Okay, Saloni wasn't. Okay, DBIT professors knew about the process of patenting, because the process of patenting is that there are two applications, my dear colleagues. One is a complete application, and the second is a provisional application. Provisional means that even if your work is not completed, with few designs, few content, you can file an application and you should submit the remaining part within the 12 months. Okay. And Austin was very confident that he has completed 60% of the work, but within that 40% can easily be completed within 8 months of time. So he went with an provision application, he filed it. Okay. And Saloni completed the same work after 2 or 3 months, then she filed it later. Okay. After Austin filing the same thing. So in that case, Saloni won't be getting the patent. Austin would be given the preference for the same. If condition apply, if the product would be same, the end result is same, Saloni won't be getting it, because the system is first to file system. So your filing date will be very, very important. So that is the way it works, my dear friend.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
There's
you.
one more question. Can someone apply for SICLD and intellectual patent simultaneously?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any more questions? Okay, all right. Thank you so much, sir, for the detailed introduction on IPR, and thank you so much for answering all our questions.
I enjoyed. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed. Thank you.
We enjoyed
Your,
too.
your class was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I, Saloni Dhotre, BE student of Computer Department, on behalf of Don Bosco Institute of Technology, would like to take the opportunity to thank our speaker for today, Mr. Awab Faki, for accepting our invitation. We extend our sincere gratitude towards your contribution for the webinar on intellectual property rights and patent fundamentals. We truly appreciate your commendable efforts in making us understand all about patents and IPR. Your guidance will surely help us to work smartly on our innovation process. I spread my most sincere thanks to Reverend Father Mario Vaz, the Executive Director of DBIT, Principal Ma'am, Dr. Prasanna Nambiar, our HOD, Ms. Sana Sheikh, for their constant encouragement and cooperation to have such events for our faculty members and students. Further, special thanks to Gregor and Hayden for their amazing role in helping us stream this event on YouTube. I would like to thank Gregor for making a beautiful poster which was shared for the webinar. Let me now give my special thanks to Ms. Sejal Chopra for organizing this webinar and making this program successful in every aspect. We would like to thank our computer engineering department for providing the medium to this event with their Zoom account. A big thanks to all the participants for joining us today. We shall meet tomorrow to learn about Indian patent filing. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining.